Formula One is no stranger to controversy, and as we head into the 2025 season, one of the hottest debates revolves around front-wing flexibility. Red Bull has been at the forefront of pushing for stricter regulations, advocating for changes that could significantly impact their rivals, particularly McLaren and Ferrari. But why is this issue so crucial? How will these new rules shape the performance of the teams? And most importantly, will Max Verstappen have what it takes to remain a championship contender in a season that many expect to be filled with surprises? Red Bull has been aggressive in lobbying for stricter regulations regarding front-wing flexibility from the 2025 season onwards. The team made specific requests to the FIA, and despite initial reluctance from the governing body, a decision was finally made in their favor. Reports suggest that a significant portion of the 2026 budget has already been allocated to resolving this issue in the RB21. However, questions remain about whether the FIA's delay in implementing these rules initially put Red Bull at a disadvantage. As it stands, the FIA has now confirmed that from round 9 in Barcelona, stricter tests will be in place to monitor front-wing flexibility more rigorously. However, Red Bull initially pushed for these regulations to be enforced from the very first race in Melbourne, arguing that allowing 8 races under the current rules would unfairly benefit teams like McLaren and Ferrari. Many in the F1 community see Red Bull's stance as a sign that they may be losing an edge. Instead of addressing performance issues within their own camp, they appear to be relying on regulatory changes to level the playing field. Could this be an indication that McLaren has finally caught up, or perhaps even surpassed Red Bull in key performance areas? Simulator data and pre-season testing results suggest that the RB21 may not be performing as expected, with noticeable drop-offs in crucial areas. Red Bull is well aware that to keep Max Verstappen content, they need to provide a championship-winning car. Verstappen is a driver who races for victories and titles, not just to be a part of the grid. If fundamental flaws persist in the RB21, it could spell trouble for Red Bull's long-term future, especially with ongoing rumors about Verstappen's potential departure. Renowned motorsport journalist Jonathan Noble has reported that Red Bull was adamant about implementing the new front-wing regulations from the start of the season. However, McLaren and Ferrari resisted, arguing that they had already designed their cars within the existing framework. The FIA, in an attempt to strike a balance, settled on a compromise that would see the new rules enforced from race 7 instead of race 9, as initially planned. Despite this, McLaren has surprisingly shown support for the FIA's decision, leading some to believe that their performance gains from front-wing flexibility may not be as substantial as Red Bull initially suspected. The flexibility of the front wing is a crucial factor in aerodynamics, helping to counteract understeer in slow corners and reduce oversteer in high-speed sections. Last season, cameras installed on front wings from the Belgian Grand Prix onwards provided key data that suggested the MCL38 had a more flexible setup compared to other cars on the grid. Mercedes was also mentioned in this group, but their struggles with an ineffective car concept limited their ability to capitalize on this advantage. With the FIA now set to implement tougher deflection tests, the playing field may change. However, Red Bull is not only concerned about front wings. They have also raised suspicions regarding the rear wing designs of McLaren and Ferrari, particularly with the MCL39 and SF25. Reports indicate that Red Bull believes their rivals have found new ways to exploit regulations, specifically around the mini-DRS phenomenon. Last season, during the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku, McLaren's rear wing was observed to flex under high-speed conditions, reducing drag and boosting top-speed performance. Red Bull has reportedly been monitoring similar behavior in pre-season testing and has raised concerns with the FIA. The governing body has installed additional cameras to closely track rear-wing flexing, but so far, no immediate action has been taken. Gary Anderson, a former F1 technical director, has voiced his concerns over the FIA's handling of these technical regulations. He argues that penalties for rule infractions should be handed out more swiftly. As he points out, drivers are penalized almost instantly for minor infractions, while teams are given months to adapt to regulatory changes. Anderson believes that the FIA's leniency has allowed teams to find loopholes and gain advantages that should have been addressed earlier. Given these challenges, Red Bull is likely to wait until the Spanish Grand Prix in Barcelona to see any real improvements. This aligns with their expectations that performance gains will take time to materialize. However, as we saw last season, pecking orders can change quickly. Early season struggles do not necessarily dictate the outcome of the championship. especially in a sport as unpredictable as Formula One. Last year, Verstappen won the championship despite Red Bull not having the outright fastest car in several races. However, 2025 presents a different challenge. With fresh regulations and increased scrutiny from the FIA, Red Bull will need to find solutions quickly if they want to remain competitive. Could we see Verstappen make a bold career move if Red Bull fails to provide him with a championship-caliber car? The possibility cannot be ruled out, especially given the increasing competitiveness of McLaren and Ferrari. What do you think about Red Bull's push for front-wing regulation changes? Do you believe their concerns are justified, or are they simply trying to gain an unfair advantage over their rivals? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.